Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm actually behind my fence. My house we just finished up, so after 5. So yeah, I just want to do a quick clip. Give my man Shane over there at DLT big shout out. I got so much respect for him and appreciation for him. He was one of the first YouTube lawn care guys I started watching about 5 years ago, I guess. Started watching YouTube videos after I got tired of watching the news and all the negativity. So I started watching YouTube and found his channel shortly after I started, and after that I ended up, finding Ray, and basically Shane and Ray have been the two main channels that I've watched from the beginning when I started. Yeah, man, he obviously called it quits on YouTube, doing YouTube yesterday in his video. And I was very impressed, by the way, Shane, with Abel. Hopefully he'll see this video. I was very impressed with what he had to say. Obviously a really good Christian young man, hardworking, and what he talked about, especially when it came to both of y'all working together and some of the things that would go on that only could be explained through being, from a Christian point of view, a Christian perspective, praying together and all the supernatural things that would occur while you two guys are working together. So yeah, mad respect for him. And obviously you've had a great influence on his life. At the end of the day, guys, that's what it's about, especially if you're a Christian man or woman, is influencing other people. You don't necessarily have to feel like you got to share your faith, but if you can be an influence, a strong influence, and when people see you and see how you act and see how you treat others, and talk about the Bible and that kind of thing, you don't necessarily have to feel like you got to witness every single person you see, but if you can just be a light and an example to other people in a dark world, right? And I think people notice and they want to know what's up, right? So yeah, you can always share your faith by just being an example, being a good person, being a person of character, having those Christian morals and values about yourself. So when people see you, they see something different. To me, that's the best witness you can be, especially for somebody like me that isn't necessarily comfortable just approaching people one-on-one. But if you can live your life as an example for others to see and wonder, that's when they'll come to you and you can share the good news, or frankly get them involved with church, that kind of thing. That's really the best way to be a witness, and that's what Doc did with Abel, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think Doc's been a really good witness in Abel's life, and yes, it's been neat to see not only Abel grow in his Christian walk, but Doc as well over the last couple of years. I mentioned that in one of the first videos I did last year, talking about Shane and how proud I am of him and the changes that he's made in his life. But give him a big shout out for sure. He's mentioned it, the stuff with Bad Boy, and how he felt slighted by how they handled him, given all the recognition that he was giving them and all the mowers. I think he mentioned $250,000+ worth of mowers that he was credited to have sold for that company, given all the free advertising, essentially what he was doing for them. If y'all remember last year in all his videos, he's hashtagging Bad Boy, really making that mower a focal point in his videos. So yeah, they got a lot of free advertising, and he worked hard, man. He was, if I'm not mistaken, he had to have thought that eventually all this free promotion that he was doing was going to lead to some sort of sponsorship or something, in return, right? Because it's a lot of time and effort that these videos go into, and for him to constantly rep hashtag Bad Boy, selling all those mowers for them, I don't blame him one bit, So yeah, I don't think we really know the complete story. Most of us don't. I know he's had conversations with me and told me some things, but I don't blame him when it comes to that. But especially when you got idiots in the comments, these cowards and these cowardly keyboard warrior types that want to come in the comments and take shots at a man's wife, especially a lady like Miss Sarah. So yeah, it's just beyond me that whether you like Doc or not, leave her out of it, right? Why would you even comment on that lady? Such a nice lovely, Christian lady. We all know that she's blind, I believe, right, Doc? So someone with a a handicap, being blind and all that, mad respect for her for still living her life the way she does and working. Heck, she'll probably, I bet you Sarah, Doc, would probably outwork a lot of these idiots in the comments that like to go after her. You know what I mean? They probably don't. They're probably, as Ray says, sitting on Mama's couch in the basement, talking all that smack, feeling real tough. But anyway, yeah, there's no place for it. I want to let my buddy Ben H know, give him a big thanks for pointing it out. And I feel like we as creators have to be careful about stirring the pot, when it comes to these little tit for tat, videos coming back at each other, that kind of thing. Because when that happens, and this is exactly what happened, I think, in this situation with Sarah getting involved with the idiots in the comments making the nasty comments they made. When you have these back and forths between channels and the drama or whatever, it just creates an environment for the losers to come out of the woodwork and start spewing their hate. So we got to be careful as creators, myself included. I'm going to be extra careful about being overly negative or bringing up other channels, this, that, and the other, just so we don't create that environment. I don't. So yeah, I'm going to mention the Lee and Ray and some of you other guys that are content creators, Randall over there at Elite. Let's be careful about stirring the pot, so to speak. You know what I mean? So Ben H brought that up, I think, in one of Ray's videos, not mistaken. Not directed toward Ray necessarily, but yeah, just mentioned the fact that a lot of these idiots, they tend to come out of the woodwork when stuff gets stirred up, right? So we got to be careful about that. There's no need for someone's family member, especially someone's wife, like Miss Sarah, to get caught up in this. And I don't blame Doc one bit. I saw one of the comments in particular by one guy. He's been commenting on Ray's videos, giving him a hard time from time to time. He's even come in my comments, a bunch of bull crap, and some comments before too. Luckily he hadn't commented in a while, but shame on you, dude. I think it starts, I can't even really pronounce it, ELO something. I saw the comment he made, and there's another guy that had a very derogatory comment towards Shane, which is totally uncalled for. Really is. It's really pathetic that people, even in a forum like YouTube, are gonna make the comments they make. It's just no place for it. And I want to be one that tries to promote, I don't want to promote that kind of thing happening towards anyone else, right? So I'm going to be extra careful about the videos I come up with and not being too controversial and all that kind of stuff, because again, I don't want the idiots come out the woodwork spewing their nonsense. So yeah, y'all, hey, listen, nothing but respect for Shane, man. Doc over there, he's been giving it his all for quite a, how many years, Shane? 7? How many years you been on YouTube? 6, 7 years now, doing the videos. I know he's made some money. He's made way more money than I have. Of course, I just started making a little bit of money, a little over 6 months ago. But he's made a good bit of money doing the YouTube, but not near as much as he deserves, I'm sure, given the time and the effort that it takes putting all these videos together. So I got to give him a lot of credit for helping guys like myself. Even though I've been doing it a long time, I've learned a lot from Shane. Just listening to him, and got to give him a lot of respect. The fact that he's willing to say what's on his mind. He don't care about political talking points and mentioning politics in his videos, religion, and of course I'm not, I'm the same way. I typically don't get really involved with politics as much. I try to mention, godly things and being a witness from that perspective, but, I try not to necessarily talk politics a whole lot. But yeah, I got respect for him for, saying what's on his mind and what he believes in, right? It takes a real man, especially when it may affect you monetarily, or in this case, when it comes to the views on YouTube, getting shadow banned and stuff like that happening when you mention, especially when you mention Trump. We all know about that when it comes to, getting shadow banned and whatnot. You know, when it comes to political points of view that, you know, a lot of the people on the left don't agree with. But yeah, mad respect for him for speaking what's on his mind, you know, when a lot of men wouldn't be willing to do that, or they're scared to because they're afraid it's going to hurt their pocketbook. But yeah, he says what he believes, and I would say almost 99, 100% of the time what he says. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the comments, especially if you follow me and follow both of us, especially, agree with a lot of stuff he says, right? You may not be willing to say it on video on a forum like YouTube, but in your mind you're shaking your head. Yeah, no doubt about it, Doc. But that's how I found myself a lot of times. So yeah, mad respect for him for, yeah, telling the truth, right? And not being afraid, not caring, you know, making a difference, you know. So yeah, nothing but love, respect for you, Doc. Appreciate you, one of the, you know, pioneers in lawn care YouTube. You know, I learned a lot from the videos that you've done, you know, as far as making the videos I make and coming up with the, you know, the method of how I make the video, so to speak. So nothing but respect for you, sir. Sarah, yeah, I hate that those people would say the things they did. Yeah, and really no place for it at all. But I understand completely, Doc, you calling it quits for sure. Just no place for it when your wife and your family and kids. I don't think anybody's kids has been involved, but yeah, if that were ever the case, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of hesitant about putting my kids in the videos. But yeah, no place for it, especially my channel. If you're thinking about spewing that kind of stuff, just go somewhere else, or I'll just ban you, right? I haven't had to ban anybody, but I definitely will if I got to put up with that crap. But needless to say, hey, listen, y'all. Hey, Doc deserves respect. Nothing but love. Looking forward to continued friendship with you, sir. And I definitely want you to continue to mentor me when it comes to YouTube and other things that we've talked about, you know, on the phone and whatnot. So yeah, nothing but love for you, sir. Appreciate every single video you've done and the inspiration you've been to me and so many others, all the great techniques and, you know, everything that we've learned from you involving lawn care. So having said that, that's for you, Doc. Lay, buddy. Have a good one.